Here we go. Once again, this is Jony Cinco coming back at you with another podcast. Thank you so much. 5 seconds, 5 minutes to regroup, reset, our mind to make sure that we're getting after it. One thing I want to talk about, let's get straight to it. I believe in you. Johnny believes in you 100%. You got what it takes to be the best version of you. And most of all, your family and your friends, everybody around you, most of all, you, right? You deserve to be the best version of you. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in. And let's talk about weakness, right? I'm not the smartest, I'm not the brightest. I'm not the most physically gifted. I'm a lot of stuff, but I'm mostly a lot of weakness, right? Um, and again, right, I'm not the smartest, right? I'm not the fastest. I'm the most not the most intelligent. I'm not the most educated. I'm not the most. I'm most of a lot of things, right? And I accept that. I accept that I'm not none of that, right? I know that I don't come from, a wealthy background. I don't come from a lot of different things, right? And that's okay. And that's okay. I accept that, right? I accept that that's where I'm at, right? The first thing again, right? We have this weakness. We accept the weakness, but how do I improve on this weakness, right? How do I get after this weakness that I can identify, and it's not about self sabotage or say, because I'm this or I'm that. That's the reason why, I'm where I'm at today. No, it's identifying it and it's attack it, right? So, kind of what they say, the strongest thing that you have usually is your weakness, right? Is your strongest weakness in a way, right? But again, right, I get after, so again, when you set these goals, not only, do you set the goals for things that you're strong on, but also, let's improve these weaknesses, right? Whatever it is that it is, right? If you're lifting weights and your chest, right, your weight on your when you're lifting weights is especially when you're doing chest day is the weakest out of your legs. Your legs are probably the strongest, right? Or you like to do shoulders more or your biceps or whatever it is, right? Physically, right? That is a weakness, and that is what you kind of train on, right? If you know that you're not that great at writing, guess what? Let's attack that weakness. If it is getting an app, reading a book, looking at ways to improve your writing, right? You got to go and do that, improve those weaknesses, right? Um, if it's um, if it's reading, right? If you find yourself where you want to get a little bit more education, let's pick up these books, right? These books that are gonna, expand our mind, our ideas, in the specific subjects that we're interested in, right? Because again, it's about you being interested in these specific subjects that you want to be better at. So again, right, when we're kind of attacking these weaknesses, we got to identify the weaknesses, but then we got to go head on, right? We got to go ahead and improve on these weaknesses, right? And then it's not, and the biggest thing for you is not so much the results, right? The results are going to come, right? The results are going to come based off the work that you're putting out. If you, but again, right, you got to be self, analyzing and let yourself know, like, did I actually attack these weaknesses and put in the work, right? So when I try to say that is that if we're looking for progress tomorrow, right, it's not going to happen, right? Everything takes its time, right? It takes the discipline, it takes the mental fortitude, the routine to get after it. But at the end of the day, you're attacking these weaknesses, right, that you have, right? If it's public speaking, right, if it's little by little, kind of find out whatever those weaknesses are and attack them, right? And there's many ways to attack these weaknesses, but at the end of the day, you will know, or you're satisfied when you look yourself back in the mirror again and know that you did what it took to improve on those weaknesses. And if today is one of those days where there's days where I'm not feeling it. There's days where I don't get up. There's days where I don't, get after it. And then I find myself again, 5 seconds again, 5 seconds, 5 minutes. Let's reset, regroup. Right, if it's in the morning, your day's a wash. You didn't do anything. You didn't progress. But guess what? Let's attack this weakness today, since today is the day that we're living. And let's take those 5 minutes, 5 seconds, reset, regroup, and let's get it. Let's get after it. And you'll thank yourself later. So again, this is Jony Cinco, always believing in you that you can be the best version of you. And again, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm proud of you that you're listening to this podcast because again, I believe that you deserve to be the best version of you, your family, your friends, but most of all, again, you deserve it. And I believe in you. So this is Jony Cinco. Until next time, peace.